On Christmas Eve, 1945, Fayetteville, West Virginia, lay under a thick, silent blanket of snow. The streets glimmered under the faint light of the lamps, and the soft crunch of boots on icy sidewalks mixed with distant echoes of carolers' songs. Inside the Sodder household, 10 children were preparing for what should have been a joyful, peaceful night. The smell of fresh pine from the Christmas tree filled the air, mingling with the aroma of holiday cooking. Laughter echoed from the living room as the children played games, unaware that disaster was creeping closer. In the dead of night, flames erupted inside the home. They spread with alarming speed, consuming furniture and walls, as the chaos transformed what should have been a warm, festive evening into a terrifying nightmare. 5 children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jennie, and Betty, vanished without a trace. No remains were ever found. Their disappearance would become one of America's most haunting mysteries, leaving George and Jennie Sodder with nothing but questions, grief, and an unrelenting drive for answers. The night of the fire was strange and terrifying from the very first moment. George and Jennie awoke to the smell of smoke, thick and acrid, and the sound of timber cracking under intense heat. The children's cries echoed from the upper floors, piercing the cold night air. George rushed outside, desperate to save them, only to find that the ladder he always kept for emergencies was gone, vanished without explanation. Snow and ice made the ground treacherous, slowing him down, while fire trucks struggled to navigate the frozen roads. Neighbors recalled seeing the house engulfed in bright, dancing flames, hearing muffled shouts and sobs. Some claimed shadows moved unnaturally in the glow, as if the children were trying to escape. By the time the fire was finally contained, the house had been nearly destroyed. And 5 children were missing, without a single trace. Not a bone, not a fragment, not even the smallest clue. The absence of remains was baffling, leaving the official explanation, death in the fire, deeply questionable. The scene itself was riddled with anomalies that seemed to defy logic. The phone lines to the house had been cut, preventing any call for help. Windows were tampered with in ways that suggested deliberate interference. Certain rooms burned in patterns inconsistent with a typical fire, some completely untouched while others were reduced to ash. Neighbors reported seeing strangers in the area days before the fire, and a few recalled odd behavior near the house. Fire investigators later noted the blaze spread unusually fast and unevenly, possibly influenced by accelerants. These anomalies painted a chilling possibility. The children may have been deliberately removed from the house before or during the fire, leaving George and Jennie to grieve a tragedy that might never have occurred in the first place. Immediately after the fire, George and Jennie began a relentless, decades-long investigation. Photographs and descriptions of the children were posted across towns, states, and even countries. Private investigators were hired to pursue every tip, no matter how improbable. One claim suggested Maurice had been seen in a New Orleans cafe. Another placed Martha wandering through a European city. There were reports of Louis, Jennie, and Betty appearing in faraway towns, sometimes years after the disappearance. While none were verified, each report sparked hope, however fleeting, and became a lifeline for the grieving parents. The intensity of their search was fueled by the belief that the children might still be alive, somewhere in the world. Mysterious letters only deepened the intrigue. One, postmarked in the 1950s, arrived at the Sodder home with a single chilling message: "Your children are not dead. We have taken them." The handwriting could not be traced, and the sender's identity remained unknown. Alongside strange phone calls, witness testimonies, and photographs of children resembling the Sodders. These letters suggested that their children had been deliberately abducted rather than killed in the fire. Each mysterious communication sparked both hope and fear, fueling George and Jennie's relentless search and keeping the story alive in public consciousness for decades. The children themselves were never forgotten. Maurice, the eldest, was protective and responsible, often guiding his younger siblings. Martha was curious and energetic, always exploring, always asking questions. Louis, Jennie, and Betty were inseparable, playful, and imaginative, often creating their own adventures within the home. George and Jennie studied every photograph, every memory, looking for clues that might match reported sightings. Each lead was examined meticulously, but many ended in dead ends, compounding the parents' grief. The emotional weight of uncertainty pressed down on them for years, yet their resolve never faltered. Over time, dozens of alleged sightings emerged, adding layers of intrigue. One man claimed he saw Maurice working in a New Orleans cafe. Another reported Martha walking along a European street. Witnesses sometimes described behavior or mannerisms remarkably similar to the missing children. Some photographs from distant locations bore uncanny resemblance to the Sodders. While nothing could ever be verified, these incidents fueled hope and public fascination with the case. Every lead, every rumor, became a thread in a tangled web of possibility, keeping the mystery alive. The fire itself remained a central puzzle. Why did some rooms burn completely while others were scarcely touched? How could the ladder disappear and the phone lines be cut without leaving evidence? Could the blaze have been a deliberate cover for abduction? Investigators even decades later debated these points, noting that the patterns of destruction did not fit standard fire behavior. These unanswered questions turned the case into a symbol of the unexplained. A cautionary tale of how ordinary lives can be shattered by events that defy reason. Even the town seemed to hold its own whispers. Neighbors recounted fleeting shadows, strange movements in the woods behind the house, and odd behavior from strangers asking unusual questions about the family. The local community became entwined in the mystery, adding their own reports and observations to the growing story. Every detail, every recollection, only deepened the enigma. George and Jennie's determination never wavered. They erected billboards with photographs of their children, traveled countless miles chasing leads, and pursued every clue with tireless devotion. Their persistence became a symbol of hope and resilience, a testament to the power of love and parental devotion. The story of the Sodder children captured the imagination of journalists, investigators, and ordinary people alike, drawn to the combination of tragedy, mystery, and the family's unyielding search. The Vanishing of the Sodder Children is more than a story of loss. It is a narrative of hope, perseverance, and the pursuit of truth in the face of impossible odds. From the unusual fire and cryptic letters to alleged sightings, mysterious photographs, and decades of tireless investigation, it challenges our understanding of what is possible. It remains a haunting, unresolved mystery that reminds us of the fragility of life and the enduring power of hope. Even decades later, the case continues to spark curiosity, speculation, and fascination, inviting us to ask, what really happened that night, and could the children have survived, somewhere in the world? As you sit back and let these mysteries sink in, remember, not everything you see or hear can be explained. Some events leave questions that even science struggles to answer. And perhaps, that's what makes the unknown so captivating. The stories we uncover may seem strange, unbelievable, or even impossible, but somewhere, in the shadows of our world, they linger. They wait for someone curious enough to notice, to question, and to seek the truth. Could it be that the line between reality and the unexplained is thinner than we imagine? Only time, observation, and a keen mind will tell. If this journey into the unknown left you with chills, goosebumps, or even more questions than answers, you're not alone. Many who dare to explore these mysteries find themselves wondering, what else is out there, just beyond the edge of understanding? And while the world continues to hide its secrets, you can stay one step ahead. By subscribing to Echo's Evidence, you'll never miss another encounter with the unexplained. Hit the bell icon, so the next mystery comes straight to you. No delays, no excuses. Join a growing community of curious minds, who, like you, are drawn to the strange, the eerie, and the unexplainable. Remember, every video you watch here is more than a story, it's a doorway. A doorway to knowledge, to fear, to fascination, and sometimes, to answers we didn't know we were looking for. And just when you think you've seen it all, the shadows may shift, the quiet may whisper, and something familiar might not be what it seems. Keep your senses alert, because the next strange occurrence, the next unexplainable phenomenon, could be closer than you think. So, before you leave, take a moment. Reflect on what you've just seen. Share your thoughts, your theories, or your own mysterious experiences in the comments. Let's see how deep the rabbit hole really goes together. And as always, keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and your curiosity alive. Because in a world full of echoes and evidence, the next mystery is always waiting.